For my field of interest, I have chosen in journalism. After doing some research, I found that there's a lot more to it than just writing, such as to know how it came to be and what it means. It is defined as storytelling with a purpose, and the key is to present information that is found in meaningful and interesting ways without overdoing it. Journalism requires a bachelor's degree, and the entry-level position will be an internship with the local newspaper. My goal is to obtain a degree in journalism, but when it comes to projects and presentations, I get writer's block every time. So to overcome that, I must turn to my resources for help. After talking with them, I get inspired. To me, writing is a passion that I want to make a career out of, and to do so, I must venture out to take the steps to achieve my goal. As I progress through my research, I've learned that there's always a need for an honest and free press, which means that no matter how far technology has advanced, there will always be a need for newspapers. The world is changing and moving fast, so it's a writer's perspective that makes people aware and document what's going on so we can work together to solve worldwide problems. Journalism is important because someone must record all the events that are going on, otherwise how would we stay informed? Writing isn't as easy as it looks. It takes a lot of thought, processing, and concentration to fulfill the expectations and deadlines. I prepared 4 questions, 2 subtopics each, and sources of information. My first question is, which degree do I want to go for? It takes a bachelor's degree to become a writer, and it is the entry level of education. So what happens after I graduate? Will I get an unpaid internship or a paid position? Research shows that it would be an internship or working with the local newspaper. What type of initial work will I be doing? Writing an article for a magazine or writing with the local news sources? Getting a job will help build a portfolio. It will be a long road that takes dedication and persistence. How do I venture out to become a fiction writer? Writing stories in my spare time, perhaps, or creating my own blog. Either one of those will do for a start, and who knows what will happen. If it doesn't work out, then no big deal. It just wasn't meant to be. I've worked hard to get where I'm at, and I'm not stopping now or giving up. This is something I've been wanting to do since I graduated high school. Along with this presentation, I will include my annotated bibliography and field of interest concept map. It may not be perfect, but that's okay. Since starting this course, learning the basics of writing will help me when getting a job in the real world. There are a variety of writing styles and jobs to choose from. I must find the right one for me. It's interesting to know all the things that I've never even knew, such as how it all started. It all began in 59 BC, and during the Tang Dynasty, China prepared a court report called Bio. It was distributed to government officials to keep them informed. Before reading the research, the only things I knew about the newspapers was that they were around in the 17th century and newsies used to sell them. By learning this new information, it has expanded my knowledge. Journalism is the main and primary source of news. Major newspapers such as the New York Times and Wall Street Journal focus on major stories such as war, politics, stock exchange, etc. Whereas local newspapers balance main stories around the world and local news, so there's something for everybody. Usually when it comes to the newspaper, I read the comics, but occasionally when scanning the headlines, something will catch my interest. I watch the morning news as well. We've got all sorts of ways to get the news: TV, radio, social media, newspapers, just to name a few. We definitely learn something new every day. Print media has been an important part of giving news to the population. When gathering news stories got its importance, there was an increase in news agencies and publications. The New York Post was started by Alexander Hamilton as a platform for the Federalist Party, which proclaimed its views, including the attack on Thomas Jefferson. That wasn't the only exception. The early U.S. press was filled with options, and newspapers were often subsidized by political parties until the early 19th century. By widening the appeal and getting rid of renting, the newspapers made more money. It's also how we got freedom of the press.